problem.
Some of this stuff is repeated from last session, so I will breeze through because I think all three of you, I seem to recognize your names, have been in the previous sessions. But I will try and get through those quickly. It just means we will close up earlier as well, so that's no problem. Everyone loves a bit of time back. Good. Okay, so Gemini for Google Workspace, you've seen this like the fourth time if you've joined us before. I'm going to skip through these very quickly, but if you want to interact, you know how to ask questions in the activities button at the bottom. You've got the chat button at the bottom. There's so few of you in here, you can just put your hands up and just, I'll unmute you. You can unmute yourselves and talk as well. No issues there. So I'll skip through that. Oh, who am I? Pablo Sava. I think if you were in the first and the sales call, you would have seen this same slide. I work here at Devo Team. I'm the EMEA Google Workspace Success Lead, Customer Success Lead, but I also do all things Workspace in the UK. I've already skipped to the main content. So I have got some exciting news. Hans has already alluded to this in our last call yesterday for marketing. So if you joined us yesterday for the marketing call, you would have seen some of this, but I'm going to go through officially what it is and how it works just now. So as of this week, if you've ever used the consumer version of Gemini, you would have already seen what this does, which is it's called extensions in Gemini. So this is where the Gemini chatbot, and I'll show you a demo of that just in a second, can actually integrate with Google Drive, Google Gmail, but also other things as well, depending on what your admins have allowed as a service in your environment. So in Google Workspace, you've got your core services and additional services. If those additional services are enabled as well, you can use Gemini to understand what the best flights are for your trip next week, things like that. So this is, for me, an absolute game changer. Using Gemini chat to be able to do from top to bottom, understanding what files you are interested in and what your activity in Drive looks like, summarizing information from communications in Gmail. I mean, think about it this way. You get an email to say you need to go to a board meeting in Madrid after get over the excitement. You then need to figure out how you get there. What's the travel? What's the agenda? This is where you just ask Gemini. Actually, that's literally your PA. And if you know me, who ends up buying flights to Sweden instead of Switzerland by accident, this is the perfect solution for you, right? I see a few of my colleagues grinning because it's not even a joke. I have done that before. So let's get Gemini to help the poor sod that can't book a ticket properly. To show you what that kind of thing looks like, I'm going to switch screen. And I'm in my home base today, so this should be nice and smooth transitions, unlike the last ones. And then we go over to this screen here. Oh, I've already got one. No, don't show them that. That's too quick. So I'm going to open up a Gemini page, and you should all be very similar with this. Now, this is demo mailbox, so I don't have like a massive amount of emails in there, but I do have some. So I've got to be a little bit more pointed as to what I'm looking for. So in here, now that I've turned on the extension, so in settings, you've got the extension section here, and you can turn those on. At the moment, my admin, and I think in general, we can only do a Gmail, Drive, and Docs. So that's the first step. We'll probably see more extensions very soon, but the first step is the core services. And if I go back to create a new chat, I should now be able to ask Gemini to summarize all the calendar invites in my mailbox. I like this because, especially as I've been traveling this week, if I look at my mailbox, I've been invited to a lot of meetings while I was away. So if I do this, one of the things I find quite difficult is in Gmail, there isn't a search criteria that says calendar invites. You have to kind of just do attachments or do something similar. Whereas actually, this doesn't just give you a summary of those more recent invites. So Andy Lee's invited me. And look, Pablo's invited Pablo. And down here, you'll see the actual emails, which I really like this. A summary at the top. This isn't like just a list of emails, but then actually you can drill down into those emails and click them. So this person's booked an appointment with me. I can open that and it's going to show me that email with the calendar invite. Absolutely love this. This works with Google Drive as well. So you can actually ask for content about certain things in Drive. In fact, we'll do this. We will do, I can't remember Drive. Let's have a look. There's definitely a off-piece demo here happening, so I did not plan this, but let's say summarize, or actually show me documents in my Drive that are meeting notes. Definitely haven't tried this prompt before. Again, this is so new. I've only just turned it on yesterday. So you're being guinea pigs with me. Oh, there you go. So it's found all of the meeting notes documents I have stored in my Drive. I find this great. Like, one of those things I kind of find a little bit difficult sometimes is, where was that document where we took the meeting notes for that call last week with Simone, and you don't remember what the name is or anything like that, or even the event? This is where it's going to really help you, because the context part, this is more than search. This is contextualizing the understanding of what you are looking for. And that's where this is going to be really critical. I'm pretty proud of that for a search I didn't even test beforehand. That worked out pretty good. So I will give you the caveats, because it's not all roses and sunshine. This is an alpha feature. So if you are doing any work with Gemini with DevoTeam, we can turn that on for you. If you have Gemini licenses, you are able to turn that on as well. But at the moment, it's not a GA, it's not generally available just now. It's the alpha that's coming, so you can test it. So you won't be able to get that off the bat, is basically the core takeaway here. Good. Let's go through. I've got another unique thing to share today as well. So let me go back to the slides. Allow and allow. So normally I would say today we are only focused on the services in this red square. And this is true. Everything you get with a Gemini Google Workspace license is only in that square. These other services in the rest of the slide, you pay for per use, per token, or for another license to get access to. So it's not part of the Gemini SKU. I'm going to go a little bit off piste today, because I want to show you one thing for procurement specifically, which is really good, of an example of AI in one of the other services. I mean, it flows nicely. If you've got Gemini Workspace and you use this, it flows really nicely. So for that reason, I need to explain what service it is. So 2 seconds. So show of hands. At the bottom, you've got the hand button, or you've got the emoji, one of the two. How many of you know what AppSheets is? Anyone? Anyone heard of it before? I see no. Okay, Gilby doesn't count. You just did a whole thing for a customer on AppSheets. I know you know what AppSheets is. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to pause Gemini and Google Workspace just a second. I'm going to just really quickly show you something called AppSheets, which is a no-code app. Now, for procurement, this is really nice, really, really nice. It is not included in a Gemini for Google Workspace SKU, but it's worth looking at. So I can't clear my history for chat, so you'll see some historic chat on this, but I'll share my screen and explain. So if you have AppSheets, even just 1 or 2 licenses for the people that need to use it, and then you can create a no-code application. But with AI and Gemini in AppSheets, so you have to have the paid for license for AppSheets to use it, you can ask a chatbot in your chat. Ignore this chat here. I'm just going to prompt him to say hello to the chatbot. I'm actually speaking to the AppSheet service from chat.
We can't see your...
Oh, you can't. You're right. I've just shared the wrong screen. And thank you very much, Marcus, for pointing out early.
I'm too curious about what you show.
Oh, okay. This is new for you as well, is it? Good. So I have a license for AppSheets separate to Google Workspace or Gemini, which makes me able to make no-code apps. If you wanted me to do a session on that one, I can do that as well separately. But because I have an AppSheet license, I get access to this chatbot called Gemini in an AppSheet. Now, AppSheets will you say hello and it'll say, oh, welcome back. What are you looking to do? And I'm going to literally say, especially from a procurement perspective, I'm going to say, actually, I want to create a really quick formal app to track assets and licenses. So let's do licenses, actually. Let's do a license request system. So for any procurement people out there, you know that you have shadow IT and everyone just goes and grabs a license wherever they need. I want to bring that in-house. So I want everyone to apply for a license when they need something. So let's do this. Let's say I am head of procurement at my company or business. And I would like to create an app that all staff will be able to fill in a form to request a license. Request a license to use, and I'm going to give it some of these to use. And let's say Salesforce. Is this a little bit small? I hope. Let me know if it's a bit small. I can zoom in as well. Use Salesforce, Zoom. Although if you have Google Workspace, why would you have Zoom? And what's another one? Anyone give suggestions? I'm stalling here. I don't want to say. What should we do?
ServiceNow.
ServiceNow. Thank you, Gilby. Full stop. Please provide. Oh no, and all requests should notify admins. Should notify procurement team. Okay, I'm just I'm gonna zoom in anyway because it's quite small. So I'm head of procurement at my business, and I would like to create an app that all staff will be able to fill in a form to request a license to use Salesforce, Zoom, ServiceNow. All requests should notify the procurement team. Good. Or I should say new requests. All new requests. Good. So Gemini is now thinking, okay, great. I'm going to make that. So I don't know if anyone used to use Access back in the day, Microsoft Access. No. Oh, I feel it makes me feel old saying that. Okay, we've got one thumbs up. So it's kind of doing that similar thing. It's making the tables. So it's going to say, okay, I can create you an app. First thing we need to do is make sure we have the tables to make sure we have the list of users and the software and all that stuff. So it says, here's the tables and the request form we're going to create. Your app will let you create, read, and update, delete records and navigate between those records. So I can add a notification as well. And I'll say, okay, notify me. So this will allow any notifications to come to me if software licenses are requested. That's what I want. I don't really care if someone adds a new software or a new user. I care if someone requests. I hit save. And now it's going to say, great, would you like me to create the app? I've got everything I need in terms of data. I know when to send the notifications. Let's create the app. It's going to take me to App Sheet Service. I'm just going to create that app. Sometimes that can take a few seconds or error, apparently. Of course it errors. I'm doing a live demo. Why wouldn't it error? Let's try that again. Yeah, okay. Let's go back here and skip, see if it, and then maybe it's the notification. There we go. Okay. Nope. Oh, that's interesting. We should start again. Let's just do this really quickly. Copy that prompt. Do you know what? It's having that morning feel. Marcus, your post earlier with Gemini was saying it was having a break. I think is applicable here. Adding views is not supported yet. Okay, let's make this much more simple then. I'll do a quick procurement app. Let me just grab my prompt from before. Rewind, you can do this, but I think I've added too much complexity too quick. You can add that afterwards. So let's go back. As an asset manager at my company, in my business, I would like to track all assets at different branches and be notified when assets are allowed at the branches. So let's do that one. Same thing as assets and software licenses, you can treat the same way. So I want to track all software licenses. Oh, it's really not playing ball today. Okay. I know that's a prompt that worked last time, so I don't know what's up with Gemini today. That's typical, isn't it? Let me try it. Let me go right back. See if I've got an very old one. Let's go really simple. As an IT manager, I want to track assets. If you can't do that this morning, then Gemini needs a coffee for sure. Yes, start over the new app that the instructor have made. Yes, start over. There we go. Great. Sorry, guys. As you do with live demos, you have to start again sometimes. So let's do that. And so it does say here, create an app that tracks laptops and assets. You can create an app that tracks software. You can track whatever you need to track, basically. Here's your asset tracker. Great. It's got the database. I can add a notification when someone adds an asset. Yeah. So laptop assignment, save. Perfect. And then create the app. This time, don't error, please. If it errors, then I think there's just something wrong with the service. Yes, there is. Today is not playing game. I will have to come back to you with another video for that. So apologies. What should have happened is we would get an app which gives you a form that you can deploy on mobiles. You can give access to external or internal, and you can track those applications. And it looks very nice, works very nice on mobile and on desktop. Apologies this morning. Looks like Gemini is not working in App Sheets. We'll give it another go soon. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Gemini for Google Workspace. Let's do this. Okay, good. So, quick recap. This week we did sales, we did marketing, and we're doing procurement today. Tomorrow is HR, and how we can use those in those different roles within Google Workspace for Gemini. Again, you've got 3 ways of interacting with Gemini if you've not already known this. So that's inline, side panel, and full screen. We just actually did a small demo on the full screen one. And for that reason, we can take a look from a procurement perspective. And actually, there's so few people on this call, actually, that I wouldn't mind some interaction here and some suggestions. So I might call out and ask for some suggestions in a minute. I'm not procurement, so I've done my best to understand what a day in the life of a procurement manager is. So let's have a look and see how that looks. Let's create a new chat. So we start here. Now, I'm a procurement manager, and in this sense, and today, my issue, my problem, the thing I want to try and solve is I want to get an application or a service that can provide a single sign-on. So I'm going to look for an IDP for my business. Now, for me, the IDP must have certain things. So for me, I would want a custom login page, which is pretty important. Multiple factor login, so 2-factor login at least. And so what I want to do is I want to create a comparison table to compare the different products that provide this. So let's do that. I've drafted my prompt from before. So here, as a procurement manager at Dev Team Group, I have been asked to review a new identity provider that supports Google Workspace. The key features required by Dev teamers are added layers of security, a custom login page, and multiple factor login. I should put login, not security. Oops. Let's do that. Perfect. Good. Let's see how this goes. I want to copy this. Perfect. So I love this. If you've done procurement before and you think, I want to compare the SKUs, I want to compare the product, I want to understand what I can and can't do, this is really nice. The amount of time I spend looking and searching online for a comparison table for the different products can be quite cumbersome. So here it's giving me that table off the bat. Pricing apparently varies, so that to me sounds like a second prompt. Maybe I want to do a separate table for the pricing. Scalability, customer support. This is really good. So these I haven't actually added. It's added additional considerations because of the role I put in. So that prompt is really important. I've specified what I'm looking for because I am in this role. So it's added those additional considerations, which is really nice. And then there we go. There's even more here. At key points, all three providers meet the core requirements. Great. Ping Identity is known for its robust security features. Okta often praised for its user-friendly interface. OneLogin offers a balance of strong security and customization. That's really good. I really like these summaries. It just saves so much time. And the next steps. This is great. Like now I know what to do next. So okay, request a demo, pricing, trial period, and talk to references. So I'm going to go one step further on this one. I'm going to say, great. This is great. It's great. Can you add columns to the? Is it columns? Which way has it done it? Oh, it's ping identity. Oh, the services at the top. Can you change the tables, the comparison there? Table. So the on the left as a each and add columns to track your suggested next steps.
You forgot the left. The left is missing.
Oh, what have I done?
The products are on the left.
Oh yeah.
That will.
This is the thing. I want to write quickly in demos, and I tend to skip. So columns to track your suggested next steps. Okay, so what I've done here, this is a bit of a gamble here because I'm not sure if it's going to understand what I'm trying to do, but this is great. Can you change the comparison table so that the products are on the left as a row, left? So one product per row. Let's do that. And add columns to track your suggested next steps. So I want to be able to take this and make it into my tracker. That's basically what I'm trying to do. So let's see if it's done that. Yeah, look at this. Great. So now it's taken that comparison. I can add more rows for more products if I want to as well, and ask Gemini to put them in. But it's now also adding trial period, talk to references, and check marks if we've done them. I absolutely love this. The amount of time saved just trying to understand what we're comparing, what the next steps are, tracking it. We've just done this in about 30 seconds, which is great. Considerations, priorities. It just gives me more. It keeps giving me more to do. Okay, great. Thanks, Gemini. So I'm going to hit the export to sheets button here, and then we can get into a Google Sheet. And I think for the procurement side of things, more of it's going to happen in the gemini.google.com interface than actually anywhere else, because the sheet's great for tracking. I will show you contracts in just a minute as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But I think the core here is understanding the products, and gemini.google.com is going to help with that. Let's open that sheet and see what it looks like. Great. There we go. Oh, okay. There's new things coming every day on Gemini, and this one's caught me out. Fill columns faster with Gemini. This is great. I'm going to have to play with that in a minute. So just in the week that we've done these summer sessions, we've already seen 3 new features in Gemini. It's a very fast-paced product. So we've got this. Perfect. We've got this as our tracker. I think we can even just quickly do help me organize, I think it's called. Oh, no. We can add a theme. Hans showed us how to do it yesterday. I was actually really impressed. You can really quickly theme that table as well for a tracker. Anyway, we've got that tracker there. I think the next steps we've got is looking at contracts. So let's say we go for a contract. Let's say that we get sent a deal for X amount of licenses or something like that. I'm going to go back to Gemini. Now, you can keep it in the same chat. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't, but I'm actually going to create a new chat, and I'm going to say, can you provide a summary of the different contracts we have in Drive for Zoom? Did I make another one? I feel like I made another one for Zoom and Okta. Oops, where is it? Zoom and Okta. So I've asked it to give me a summary of our existing contracts. So I know that we have a contract with Zoom. I know we have a contract with Okta. So it's going to go in and find those contracts. Now, those contracts, I don't believe, have the word contracts in them. So there's some contextual understanding of what to show you here, which I think is great. Having said that, I don't think those are the two documents I've put in there. But it's going to go find the contracts we have. So you've got two of them, which I would expect it to come. Yeah, I think it is these. So I expect it to show these two contracts I've made, which is great. They're not called contracts, they're called order forms. So Gemini needed to understand that these are what we are looking for. And actually, what I'm going to do further is I'm going to say, can you summarize, or can you provide, because I need to summarize this, can you provide or provide how many Zoom licenses we have purchased, from, and I don't know about you guys, but these order contracts and order forms and MSAs are ridiculously long sometimes. So I'm just going to do this and Zoom. Oh, I just do the Google Docs. So can you provide how many Zoom licenses we purchased from Google Docs? And let's see, it's just in a shared drive, so I should find them. Not found them. It's not possible. Might be possible that it's quite a new document, so it's not indexed it yet. Let's try again. The document. Zoom in the procurement shared drive. Let's go real specific. I shouldn't have to do that, but let's just do that for the demo. Shared drive. Oh, I didn't do Drive last time. I did Docs, maybe. I think I did do Docs last time. Yeah, I didn't find it. Interesting. All right. The other way of doing it is not through gemini.google.com, but it's because I didn't actually have the document. It's a shared document. That's why. Apologies. So you can do it in here though as well. So can you show the number of Zoom licenses in our Zoom contract? See if it's shared with me. Thank you very much. You can watch the rest of the recording as well. To be fair, we're actually going to wrap up relatively soon because I'll take questions as well, but we've got one or two more bits. There we go. So it's not finding it. I think it hasn't indexed it. It's all too new. But this is the document I was hoping it would go into. I think it's too vague. I've got too much Google Workspace in here. That's also why. Anyway, the point here is that if you've got the context and the orders, it will show you order forms and it will show you contracts. And you'll be able to drill deep, very deep, using Gemini.google.com into those contracts, should you have them there. This is something you have to set up in a demo account because it's kind of dangerous to do in my live account. But hopefully that procurement person will have stacks of contracts. So being able to search through contextually is much, much more powerful through Gemini.google.com is the key takeaway there. The last thing I will do is I'm going to go slightly different here, and I quite like this. So bear with me a sec. I'll just switch screen. Oops, here we go. Let's do that. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are sheets in Excel whizzes with formulas. I am not. I will tell you that now. So let me just grab the right tab. Sometimes with procurement, I have to understand, or you would have to understand, who has what license. And so in this sheet, as an example, and I'll zoom in because it's very small. Good is a sheet of users. So this is all the users in my company, for example. I've just put random number of users there. And then I've put all the users that have a Google account in here. Now, I need to find out who doesn't have a Google account in our business. And sometimes that's hard because you have the list from like your service, like Zoom or Google, you can get your user list. But then you need to find out which of those users don't have a license from your HR list of everyone in the business. For me, I'm in my head, that's a VLOOKUP. I don't know about you guys. So what I'm going to use is the side panel here. And I'm actually going to be a little bit specific here. I'm going to ask Gemini to create a formula to be able to check if the user in column D exists in column M. So I'm going to copy this one actually because it's going to take me a long time to type. But I'm going to read it to you. Create a formula that checks if the value in column D appears in column M. So the reason I'm using value is because it's not clear. My form is just terribly written. It's not clear that these are users in the business and these are people who have a license. So I've just done by a column. So I said value in column D appears in value in column M. If the value is not returned, if the value is not there, do not return an error, just blank. If the value is there, then show the user has a Google account. So let's see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't tell me to go away like it did this morning with AppSheets. No, that's good. Okay, Gemini side panel is working better. So I can see that it's made, okay, different to what I would have done. So this is an if error. I would have done a VLOOKUP if I'm honest. But if, oh, actually match, sorry. If error is just to show you the blank. So if error, do nothing. If match, show that this user has a Google account. So let's click go. There we go. And then I just drag that down all the way down. And hey, presto. We have a formula that is showing us who has a Google account and who doesn't. That formula would have taken me quite a while to figure out, if I'm going to be honest. But the fact that using normal comprehensive sentences, Gemini is now helped me create an advanced formula. One thing I will say, playing with this quite a bit, is stick to column F value, that kind of thing, rather than trying to ask it, I want this to see if this user exists here, because Gemini may not have the full context of what's in your sheet, and so, or understanding basically, because you've made that sheet, you understand that sheet, but Gemini may not understand what you mean by title. It could be a title of a book, it could be a title of anything. So stick to values and references when you're asking for a formula is what is a hot tip for that. Okay. Hands up if you've used that before or seen that before. No, okay, good. This is I've actually recently. This is one of the feedbacks we've seen from companies is that this has been very useful for making lots of sheets and comparing values and things like that. So it's very good. Okay, I'm actually gonna let me just take a look, make sure I've not got any other. No, that's fine. Okay, I've got one more. But it's a little bit more advanced. So what I mean by this is contract writing. So sometimes procurement has to do this and review contracts. So let me just do this. Here we go. This one is much more advanced and a little bit more generic in terms of AI. But what you can do as well, especially if you're in a role where you're doing the similar tasks quite a lot, is drafting a prompt. Now, this is really strange to show, I think, because you think, oh, well, AI, I should just be able to ask it and understand. But actually, what a lot of people forget is the context is sometimes not there already. So you don't just walk up to someone who's never met you before and you say, I need you to draft me SOW, thanks, bye. They don't know what you're doing. They don't know what you need that for. So we really need to add context. So actually, we use this internally at Devo Team, which is a drafted prompt for creating SOWs. And actually, it's a bit of an inside piece of info, which I actually think we should toot our own horn on this more often, if I'm honest. Let me just see if I've got the right screen. I think that's the right one. Good. I'll zoom in a little bit. So we've shared a template of how we create SOWs. So this is a very long prompt, but actually it's so important. So as and then you can put your role in there, depending on where you are. So in this case, it would be procurement manager or something like that, working for a specific company. And this is where I would actually try it in both. Try it in gemini.google.com and see, because that's going to have a nice output. But maybe you want some formatting, but you can also try it in the side panel because it's one prompt. You've got lots of context in there. Where we've got these bits that you would change in the prompt according to what you want. So the SOW is concerning X project, and you have to provide a detailed explanation of the project. You should hopefully have that already if you're making an SOW. Provide the answers, the arguments. You must address these parts in your answer. So this is really quite an advanced prompt, but because of the advanced prompt, you end up getting quite a nice output. So let's do this real quick together. So let me just use this one. So let's go for Devo Team. You create a SOW. Okay, the purpose of this, our project will be create the, let's do this. Create a cake using only AI to design the look, and AI should create the recipe. So that's going to be my project. It's going to be a marketing project. A marketing, no, let's not do that. Create a cake, let's just do that. Perfect. And then more detailed explanation to show the power, this is going to be, maybe it's a little bit high level. You definitely need to spend a lot more time on this in terms of detail. So to show the power of AI, Devo Team want to show how we can use it to make a cake. Please be more detailed than that in your prompt for sure. To do this, conduct a SWOT analysis of the extreme strengths of Gemini AI, identify any weaknesses, etc. Statement of work, let's just leave this out for a sec. Perfect. Any items we need? Perfect. Let's try this. So it's a very long prompt, but actually you're going to see that the length of the prompt is going to cause a nice detailed output. Because more detail means less guessing in Gemini. So let's do that in here. And let's see what it comes up with. Great. So it may take a few minutes actually to do the whole prompt, but it's creating an SOW with a high-level purpose, the scope of the work, which is really nice. So we've got the AI design, the AI recipe generation, the human execution, the documentation. I really like this. Hardware and software, location of work, baking and decorations in the kitchen space. I like that. It's assumed that we definitely need a kitchen. The start date, end date, working hours, deliverables and schedules with a tracker. Oh, I like that. Standard acceptance criteria. This is exactly. So I don't know about you guys, but when I look at a blank page and I think I need to start an SOW, this is way more than starting from a blank page. This is actually quite advanced in terms of what's needed in there. So when we look at time saving in general, this is huge. I think this gets you more than the 10% you would expect sometimes from AI, if I'm totally honest. So that's how we create. And then we just click that button to export to a doc, and we are pretty much most of the way there. So from a procurement sense, you can do it backwards. You can take that document, you can put it into Gemini, and you can say, actually, I need to understand the areas that I should deep dive into, or where are the security concerns, and you can start asking those questions backwards as well from a contract. Here we go. Excellent. So that's drafting contracts and understanding how, you can go into detail on those. Where's my sheet? So lastly, I need to go back to my, it's in my other, I'll do it from here then. So lastly, I want to show you sheets. Again, I know I'm going back to sheets, but once we've got all that information together, I really want to make sure I can track that. Now, I know we made a tracker earlier, but I'm just going to make a new one really quickly anyway. So in sheets.google.com, I can say, so I really like these tables. By all means, you can use those. I think there's even one that's very relevant to this. But I'm going to skip that right now because I just want Gemini to make one. So I'm going to open the side panel. I'm going to say, I am a procurement manager. Oh, I'm spelling things terribly today. And needs to track my fast applications in the business. Create a tracker and include some example SaaS applications. Cool, let's do that. Spell it right. Tracker, perfect. Hit go. There we go. There's a good tracker, so I can insert that. Now, we've got my tracker. It goes contract length, it shows features, it shows if they're active. I like all of this. One of the things that my CISO has asked for is the security aspect. So T&C security aspects. Now I'm going to have to go through each one of those, go to the terms and conditions, read the 150-page document, pull out the security concerns. Nah, let's get Gemini to do this. So where's Zoom? There's Zoom. Look at that. Zoom is in there. So I'm going to say, okay, summarize the security aspects of, and then I can go to my Zoom terms and conditions. I do have the PDF somewhere, but for some reason it's not showing up. It does do PDFs. I'm going to include the Zoom, that's like a 50-page terms and condition document. And I'm going to say, summarize the security aspects of Zoom. That would have taken me at least an hour to go through that document and get all the security aspects from there. I mean, even Gemini is taking a little bit longer. There we go. So that huge document, it's given me 3 or 4 paragraphs of the security aspects in Zoom, which is great. So I'm going to copy that. You can also just insert it. Let's copy it. If I insert it, though, each paragraph will be in a cell, and I actually want it all in one cell. So I'm going to just put it in here. Oh, that's very long. It's just bigger. There we go. And that would have taken me, can you imagine doing that for every single one of them? Now I've just minimized that down to about, I don't know, 20 minutes work by summarizing the terms and condition documents. So lots of time saved, for sure. I'm going to stop presenting there and I'm just going to do a little bit. So the wrap up is the same. Actually, hands up if you have not been in the previous sessions. Albert, oh, you have been, sorry. No, you haven't. Okay.
No, I haven't been in the previous session.
Oh, perfect. So in that case, I'm just going to go over some of the security aspects as well. Good. Okay, I think it's part as well. Good. So I've done some of the demo stuff. So if you've got questions at the end, I will definitely go through them and demo any questions from that. But what I want to just let's do the prompting first, and then we'll go through some of the security concerns as well. So one thing I will send, and I don't have the link handy. We had it yesterday. I think Marcus did send it out on the call yesterday, the prompting 101 guide.
I'll get it.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So one of the things we found has been very useful for many, many people is the prompting 101 guide. Now, we often get feedback saying, you know what, AI just hasn't worked for me. And then we say, okay, well, what do you find is the issue? It just comes back with too simple answers, or it doesn't come back with the right summaries, or the summaries are just not detailed enough. And often I'll say, okay, great, what was your prompt? And therein lies the biggest issue, is that there's just when you're talking to someone, there's an assumption that they understand what you are looking for. And the same applies to Gemini. There's an assumption that, you know what I want, but actually that's not the case. And so the prompt is often just way, way too small and too quick, and there's not enough detail. And so this prompting guide is really good. It gives it to you in a traffic light system, which is, explain the situation, explain the output, the format of the output. And if you follow this guide step by step, you're going to get a much juicier output. You probably would have seen this just now today as a procurement manager. I'm always telling them who I am, what I'm doing. I don't always suggest the format of the output. I have sometimes, like, give me a table. But if I don't know what the output format should be, I let Gemini decide. So the point here is you can use Gemini to give you as much detail as you like, but it needs to understand the context of what is important to you. It's quite a long guide, and it's really good reading for traveling, if I'm honest. Like, it's a good airplane read if you're going on holiday, or if you're on holiday. I like to imagine that people joining these calls are sitting a margarita on a beach somewhere. So if you need some holiday reading, please definitely read that. I think Marcus is going to send you. Oh, he's already done that. Look at that. So that's already in the link there in the session. Perfect. Okay, let's go into security. The fun bit. Are you ready for the fun bit? Protecting confidentiality is really, really important. So the way that Google has implemented AI is really quite, it's good. It's very much the correct way of doing it. And this is very important. Google Workspace has a set of terms and conditions, rules, and data protection, where your data is only accessible by you. There is even something in the Google Workspace logs called a transparency log. So if you do raise a support ticket and someone in support needs to look at a file to help you, that will appear in the transparency logs as to what they have seen. So everything is managed in terms of your data by you as the customer. This does not change with AI. AI is confined to the restrictions that are set in Google Workspace. They follow the same rules. So this is really important. So if I go to the next step, you'll see the data is confined in two levels. One is in your workspace environment. So that dotted line, that's the workspace environment. Actually, we've got, why are we using mouse? Let's do the pointer laser. Here we go. That's workspace. So that means that any data within your environment adheres to your workspace rules, so like DLP rules and all that kind of thing. And then this blue line is on the account level. So you have a Gemini instance, if you like, within your Google Workspace, it doesn't leave. And actually, it's within your account level, that Gemini, which means that Gemini can only access files that your account has access to. It cannot access files that are in the domain. in the environment. I'll give you an example of that. Let's say HR has a shared drive with a spreadsheet with all of the payrolls. Pretty dangerous thing to have, but let's say they have that in a shared drive. If you ask Gemini, so you're not part of HR, you do not have access to that sheet. You cannot search Drive for that sheet. If you ask Gemini and say, how much do my colleagues get paid in my environment? It will not be able to access that sheet because you do not have access to that sheet. Think of it as the parrot on your shoulder or the assistant on your shoulder, if you like. It only can see what you see. It just does it much quicker. So if that's the case, anything that you do not have access to, Gemini will also not have access to, okay? To grant Gemini access to things that you don't have access to, you would have to go and share that to the user or to the domain so that Gemini can access it, okay? So it does not add any extra layer of visibility to any data you should not have access to, okay? That's in there. This works really well. It also means it adheres to DLP rules as well, which is really nice. Good. To summarize that then, Gemini does not have permission to access files outside of the account it's being prompted from. It does not use any prompts to teach any public learning models at all, and no learning models actually, I think, full stop. So all the prompts are within your environment and no one can see those prompts outside of the account, not just the environment, the account. So all of my prompt history in google.gemini.google.com is only visible to the account that's logged in, to the account that prompted it. So no admin can see what users are prompting. That's also very important. The storage is 100% on Google Workspace in terms of Google Drive. It doesn't have an additional location for services. It will process data that's stored on Google Drive, which means that you get your DLP and security settings from Google Drive. And the data protection is all the same as Google Workspace. It's exactly the same format and rules. Good. So that's the security aspect of it. I actually usually get a lot of questions on this one, so I'm definitely more than happy to take any questions on there. Oh, I do like this. So one of the things I didn't do for procurement, because I don't think procurement does much marketing and image generation needs, but there is a bit on image generation I should cover if you've not had previous exposure to these sessions, which is the image generator. So in side panel or gemini.google.com, you can ask to generate an image of a dog with a scarf or however you like. But any images that are generated are actually copyright free, and you're free to use them publicly and in your content. Any challenges you get on copyright, then actually Google will deal with those. So it's designed to be secure, easy to use, and adhere to your business policies. So you should have no problem to turn it on and get going. It's basically how it's been designed. Okay. Oh, there we go, and thank you. So we have left a few minutes at the end for questions. So if you do have any, we've got 2 people left. This is good. You stuck it in for the long haul. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to take them, explain them, demo them. You can type them, you can unmute, it's up to you. I also really recommend looking at the recordings, which will be available soon for the previous sessions. There's so much more to Gemini than what I've shown today, a lot more actually. And today was a few more fumbles than I would have liked as well with Gemini. I think it's probably feeling the end of the week nearly. So any questions I can answer, anything that I didn't cover that you wanted to see today that I can show you. Yes, Pa, go for it. Or you're on mute. You need to unmute.
Sorry. If I create a picture with the help of Gemini, will it be my picture or would it be the Google picture?
Oh, this is a great question. So the generated image, you take ownership of it. So you can use it, you are in charge of it, but all generated images have a watermark, an invisible digital watermark that will show where it was generated and by what it was generated. So by all means, take that, use it as if it was your own, and no issue with that. Google's not going to hunt you down and say, hey, that was generated by us, you give it back to us. No, that's your data that you can use. But if anyone looks at who the creator of that content was, it will link back to Google.
Okay, thank you.
Good question, though. It's one of those pub questions as well. If AI generates a painting according to the learning model it's given, whose is the content? Don't get me started on that one. Good. Any other questions? No? Okay. Please do reach out. You've got contact and you'll have a follow-up email as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, where I'm hoping these recordings are going to be uploaded to as well, along with lots of other great Google Workspace things that we do. And I have to thank you very much for your time. We've hit the hour. I will release you and let you get back to your day. But I really appreciate your time. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Paulo.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.